Well, one thing can be said for sure. I don't have to look for problems because they find me. I was test driving the red Jeep and I had been getting this clunk. Every once in a while I've been trying to isolate it down, but it happened again today and I decided I was going to have to find it because it didn't sound good. I found the issue and I will show you. I drained the oil from the differential because that's the only place it made sense that it was coming from. And this is what dropped out. And this is only part of it. There's only one spot that could come from, and that would be the ring gear. This morning I'm getting underneath the Jeep and going to look at this ring and pinion. I already see a problem and show you what we're dealing with. So there is my ring gear, and there's two bolts and they are very loose. But what I also find interesting is that look at every bolt is gone. Now I'm back to those two. So this is not a good situation. It's been 3 years since I put the LS in this Jeep, and since then I've had a lot of problems. A few of them have been my fault, a few of them haven't. So my goal is to highlight what problems that I've had, and hopefully somebody who is going to do an LS might be able to avoid some of the painstaking issues that I had to figure out on my own. To start with, when I first started the project, I didn't really know much about it. I did a lot of research that I could. There's a lot of videos. I ended up going with the Advanced Adapters kit. Came with the bell housing, the clutch, the slave cylinder, radiator, motor mounts, pretty much everything you need to bolt the engine into the Jeep. That kit was great. I didn't have any issues cutting the motor mounts out, welding the new motor mounts in. Then came the wiring. When I decided to do the wiring, I didn't want to run two computers in my Jeep, one for the Jeep functions and then one standalone for the LS. So what I did is I removed the Jeep computer and I integrated both systems into one. Doing that probably created more headache for myself, but in the long run I'm happy because I don't have two different computers under the hood. The single most important thing that I learned doing the wire bundle was your connections inside the bundle itself. You need to solder those and put heat shrink over every single wire. I use these butt connectors, which I explained in the previous video. They were supposed to be the greatest thing. The heat shrink on it seals the wire, and the solders it all together. They don't work. So I had the wires put together, but they didn't solder into the wire, and I was able to pull a couple of them apart after time. So solder your wires, put heat shrink on them. That caused codes. I had mass airflow, and I had the oxygen sensor codes that kept coming on randomly, and I could not get rid of those. The rest of it was pretty easy. I had an exhaust shop do the exhaust system and pretty much had to modify the driveline. So in this project, as I think I've explained to last couple of videos, where so far it's all fixed. I've had no check engine light issues. Of course, now the rear end blew up in it. The only thing I didn't do myself on my whole Jeep build from when it was stock until today is the exhaust system, which is fine, and the rear end. I had somebody install the gears and the ARB. Turns out they didn't use Loctite on the bolts for the ring gear, and over time 8 of the 10 bolts backed out, ground up in my rear end. Now I'm going to have to replace and rebuild the whole rear end, but it happens. That's coming up in another video. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. I had to cobble together some radiator hoses because you can't buy them off the shelf. And then I had any other items. The intake was custom. So any questions, let me know. If you like this Jeep build, I think there's 8 or 9 videos so far in the whole thing from 3 years ago till today. Subscribe and ask any questions you want. I'd be happy to help you. You can private message if it's a complicated issue that I might be able to help with. I'd be happy to do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We really would appreciate if you subscribe. We do this part-time in the backyard, and you know, I'm just an average guy with an average toolbox and doing stuff that anybody can do. You don't have to pay a shop to keep your Jeep in top running order. You can learn to do it yourself if you like to. Thank you for watching.